On everybody, it's Key Time coming back with another one to talk about the NBA in season tournament. Now, there are a lot of teams that have won games in this tournament, and the tournament is still confusing a whole lot of people, but I am going to decipher it to everybody's understanding. Now, the best two teams in the Western Conference will not be playing in the in-season tournament in the quarter semifinals. I know that do not make sense, and when I heard it, I thought that it was foolish because how can you not have the best two teams in the Western Conference that the NBA has to offer and they are not in the in-season tournament? So besides all of that, I'm going to get to some of these teams. Now, the first team I want to talk about is the Boston Celtics. Boston, they have won their first 14 out of 18 games, which is hard to beat them at home. They have a good team on the road, but the main thing is, can they keep this going on throughout the entirety of the season? It's 18 games in. So now we already know what the Celtics have on offense and defense. The Milwaukee Bucks, they are on the Celtics' heels. I said that it would be a Eastern Conference Finals preview with Boston and Milwaukee, and I do think that those two teams will make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. Now, I see with Orlando, they are a dark horse team, even though it's early in the season. They 12-5 in they 17 games. It's still early in the season, but I believe that Orlando, they will be a wild card team. They'll win the first round of the playoffs and then get knocked out in the second round. Now with Philadelphia, I'm expecting them to be one of the top three teams in the Eastern Conference when the playoffs start. Right now they are at the number 4 spot in the East, so I don't expect them to lose very many games because Tyrese Maxey, he is balling out of control. Then you still have Joel Embiid putting up his 25, 30 points a night. So Philadelphia, for the past few years, we've seen this out of Philadelphia. Have a good start to the regular season, then have a little dip in the middle of the season, going to All-Star break, and then they turn it on after the All-Star break. Can they stay pace with the Boston Celtics and the Milwaukee Bucks? It remains to be seen. But I like what I'm seeing from all three of these teams who are in position to win a championship this year. So, and here are my dark horse teams this year: Miami Heat, Cleveland Cavaliers, Brooklyn Nets, and Atlanta Hawks. All of those teams have the potential of either making it to the second round of the playoffs or making it to the NBA Finals. Now I know it sounds a little different saying that Miami, they just came off a finals appearance back in June, but they don't have the same team like they did last season to make that unexpected finals run that we seen. Now with Miami, they might win the first round of the playoffs and then lose the second round, because even though you got Jimmy Butler, Miami, you need more than just Jimmy Butler to wheel you through the playoffs this year. You need more than just Tyler Hero to wheel you through the playoffs this year. So Miami, tough sledding for y'all. it's still early in the season. Y'all can still make some hay, but it's gonna be tough sledding throughout the rest of the season. With the Cleveland Cavaliers, same thing. Nobody didn't expect them to make the playoffs last year, but they did. Still gonna be tough sledding for them. They have a bunch of injuries. Everybody has injuries at this point of the season. You 20 games in. Well, yeah, you 20 games in. So everybody gonna have little knickknacks and injuries. So that's all I have for the Eastern Conference teams playing in the NBA. Now I want to get to the Western Conference. Now I already said that the first two teams, the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Denver Nuggets, they not playing in the in-season tournament quarter semifinals, which is a disgrace because with those two teams you will have good ratings because both of them are in the top two in the NBA as far as points and wins. So the first team I want to talk about with the Western Conference is the Golden State Warriors. Golden State Warriors, they have lost 5 straight games. They don't have the types of teams that they've had in the past. We all get that. I'm gonna tell you, their highest score in all 18 of their games is Steph Curry, 27 points. Steph Curry, 37 points. Steph Curry, 39 points. Steph Curry, 34 points. Steph Curry, 35 points 5 times. Steph Curry, 39 points 2 times. And then Steph Curry with a 45-point game 3 times since the season has started. Steph Curry, he's just carrying the Warriors right now. And then you got Draymond Green acting like he ain't got no damn sense, getting technicals, getting suspended. What happened to the blueprint of the Golden State Warriors that we heard all those many years ago? Which Draymond Green, he was already trouble when he first came into the NBA, but now he is trouble on a consistent basis. It's like you cannot take 5 steps with Draymond Green. You will get knocked 8 steps back because he either gonna have a technical or a suspension. Now, do I think that he deserved that technical last night? No, it was foolish. Draymond Green was just telling the ref that the guy, he carried the ball on his way to doing a third dribble. And you gonna give him a tech like that? That is utter nonsense to me. It's some refs that don't like Draymond Green, I know. But please call, as far as the NBA refs, call the game with some integrity. We know that you don't like Draymond Green. We know that he can get out of the bag a lot of times and start saying words that don't even need to be said on live TV. We know that, but please just try and keep it within the 4 lines of the NBA floor instead of just giving out technicals like you giving away ice cream or something. Draymond Green, he did not need that technical. It was nothing wrong. He was just talking to the ref. It was just utter ridiculousness. And I seen that game last night versus the Sacramento Kings. Now, Sacramento, they are much younger than the Warriors, and they have a much deeper team than the Warriors. So it is now time for Klay Thompson to step up, Draymond Green to stay on the floor and step up and not get in trouble off the court. It is time for all of the players outside of Steph Curry on the Golden State Warriors to step up, because if you keep playing like this, you won't be making it to the playoffs. You won't even get in the play-in tournament. And as far as right now you are currently at the 10th spot in the Western Conference Finals. We didn't expect you. We didn't expect the Warriors to be one of those top teams this year, but we didn't expect you to be this far down in the dumps this early in the season. So that's all I got for the Warriors right now. The next team I want to talk about is the Houston Rockets. Now, the Houston Rockets, they are a surprise. I thought that they would be one of the bottom of the barrel teams in the NBA, kind of like the Memphis Grizzlies, but I'll get into them a little bit later on. The Houston Rockets, it's still early in the season, you 8-7, I get all of that. But you may have a chance to make the playoffs, but I don't think you're going very far. I just don't. Because there are more teams in the West that have a deeper bench that can go and get 2 or 3 players off the bench and could get their own shot. Now, with the Houston Rockets, the only person that made a splash over there is Dillon Brooks. And Dillon Brooks, he just a body out there. He is just a waste of bones. And I did say he is a waste of bones. He just a body out there. He can't give you 10 and 15 off the bench. And plus, ain't he a starter? So you already, for the Houston Rockets, as far as the starting lineup, you already behind the 8 ball when it comes to having Dillon Brooks out there on the floor, because Dillon Brooks plus minus is 30. So Dillon Brooks, he is not even a liability for the Houston Rockets. He is worse when he is on the floor with the Houston Rockets than he is on the bench. But hey, Houston Rockets, you keeping your head above water right now at this current time. You are 8-7 right now. 8-7. So you keeping your head slightly above water, but I don't think that you'll be able to keep pace with some of these other teams I'm about to talk about. Now, the next team I want to talk about is the New Orleans Pelicans. The New Orleans Pelicans, they are doing great. They 500 after 18 games, 9-9. Zion Williamson, he averaging 23 points a game. Now, is he able to stay? Now, the question with Zion is he able to stay putting up 23 points consistently throughout the entirety of the season? I think that he can put up those type of statistics throughout the entirety of this season. This is the first time that he has been on the floor and he doesn't look tired. I mean, throughout the summer, he had been exercising, he had been doing his off-season workout, training and stuff. So, hey, this is the best I've ever seen Zion Williamson. Now, with the New Orleans Pelicans, I believe that they can make the playoffs, and they will make the playoffs. They'll overtake Houston. They'll overtake all of these other teams to get into maybe can get into the top 6. Who knows? It remains to be seen. Now, the next team I want to talk about is the Los Angeles Clippers. The Los Angeles Clippers. When James Harden came to the Clippers, I had said this. He is going to have to be coming off the bench. Have the Clippers made him a bench? Has the Clippers given him a bench role yet? Who knows? But they have still lost a whole lot more with James Harden in the lineup than with him being on the bench. Now, the first 3 or 4 games that James Harden was there, with the Clippers, they lost all of them. They are fighting tooth and nail right now to even stay afloat because they 7-9 right now. And from the looks of it, they gonna lose a whole lot more games. Can the Clippers make the playoffs? Maybe, but it's gonna take some time for James Harden to really get acquainted with all of those players. Once this trade happened, I said a good stat line for James Harden is 18 points and 6 assists. The few games that he has been playing, I've seen that he has scored 16 and 8, 15 and 8, 13 and 8. So he right there in the point total that I predicted. So now it's time for the Clippers to start winning some games. But are they able to? Because you can't have 4 shooters in your starting lineup and just 1 center, because that's not going to win you a whole lot of games in the long term. Now, short term, if they thinking about the next 3 games, yeah, you may be able to win the next 3 games. But as far as long term, and if you are wanting to make the NBA Finals like the Clippers want to make the NBA Finals, you are going to have to bring James Harden off the bench. Russell Westbrook, you are going to have to tell him not to be as ball dominant, because you need space for Paul George and you need space for Kawhi Leonard. So the Clippers are in between a rock and a hard place. So are they going to be able to get out of this rut they in? Are they going to be able to get out of these speed bumps that they are experiencing with this new lineup with James Harden in the fold? Who knows? It remains to be seen, but it's still early in the season. The next team I want to talk about is the Los Angeles Lakers. Man, I seen that game versus the 76ers. 44-point loss. Does it need to be a complete overhaul with the Los Angeles Lakers? Who knows? It's too early in the season to think about that. But they have a better record than I intended after the first 18 games. I expected them to go 9-9, but they 10-8 right now. And then you have Anthony Davis. He's still having up and down games. One game he'll have 35. The next game he'll have 15. If Anthony Davis can score at the consistency that he has been scoring at when he have those 35, 40-point games, the Los Angeles Lakers, they will have a chance to make it to the Western Conference Finals, and who knows, maybe even the NBA Finals. But it's Anthony Davis. He is riding the Lakers ship right now. I know that LeBron, it's still his team, but when LeBron can't come and give you 25 or 30 points night after night, Anthony Davis, he has got to come up. He has got to come up big in those situations, because LeBron, he's not going to be able to carry the load every night. And plus, as far as those bench players, now the bench players, they have been doing pretty good. Lakers, they average 45 points coming off the bench. So that's near the tops in the NBA. But we need more from Anthony Davis. We need Anthony Davis to have a consistent game. A good stat line for Anthony Davis is 32 points, 15 rebounds, and 10 assists. We need him to be averaging triple doubles on a nightly basis. And then let everybody else come into the fold. But that's all I got on the Lakers. Now, the next team I want to talk about is the Phoenix Suns. The Phoenix Suns, they have a bunch of shooters in their starting lineup. But what are they getting from their bench? Are they going to be able? Is the bench going to be able to put up points in the playoffs? That remains to be seen. Is the bench able to put up points now? Yes, they are. But the NBA season, the 82-game NBA regular season, it's just, for me, it's just a long preseason to what we will see in the playoffs. So, can the Phoenix Suns put up? Can the Phoenix Suns bench put up points in the playoffs? We don't know, because last year they struggled to put up points in the playoffs. Basically, in most of in the Denver series that the Phoenix Suns played in last year, the bench won the game for the Denver Nuggets bench won the series for the Denver Nuggets, because you would put the Phoenix Suns starting lineup out there, they would basically have to carry the entire team. You need every guy coming off the bench to put up at least 10 to about 15 points, and that's what the Denver Nuggets have, and that's why they will be able to make it to the playoffs, and who knows, possibly repeat as champions. Who knows? It remains to be seen, though. The last team I want to talk about is the Minnesota Timberwolves. Minnesota Timberwolves, they have surprised me. 17 games, you're 13-4. Is this going to hold up? I don't think so, because Denver is right there on your heels. Denver, they have more players that have been in more playoff situations than the entire Minnesota Timberwolves team. Now, Minnesota, the last couple years, they have made the playoffs, but they still have a young core, a young group. So I expect Minnesota to still stay in the top 5, to be in the top 5 teams come playoff time. But as of right now, it's good that they're the top team, but Denver is still on your heels. Now, the last team, now I said Minnesota would be my last team, but the last team I want to talk about is the Sacramento Kings. Same as the Minnesota Timberwolves. Young core, upcoming group. They took the Warriors to 7 last year. I think that if the Sacramento Kings get to the playoffs this year and face the Golden State Warriors, I think that the Sacramento Kings will beat the Golden State Warriors in the playoffs. What the Sacramento Kings doing right now, 10-6 after 16 games, I expected that from them. They are no longer a dark horse team like everybody had them last year. They are able to go into a hostile environment and get a win, or in the playoffs could get 2 or 3 wins and then come back and then win the series at home. They are able to do that. So the Sacramento Kings, the sky's the limit for them. I expect them to be in this spot, at the 6th spot or higher, coming into the playoffs. So all of the Western Conference teams, they still have a chance. Still early in the season. This is only 18 to about 20 games in the season. So we'll see what all these teams are made of after the All-Star break, because after the All-Star break, that's when you see teams separating themselves from the contenders, from the pretenders to the contenders. So that's all I have as far as NBA talk and the NBA tournament. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, and remember, the key is always on time.